podcast. Title: The Star Mother's Shadow, The Cannibal of Orange County, Part 2. Welcome back to The Star Mother's Shadow. Tonight we dive deeper into the twisted nightmare that began with a young woman named Kira Aoki and her brutal cannibalistic rampage through Orange County. But this story, it doesn't end with blood on the floor. There's more to this horror than you can imagine. In Part 1, we learnt about the influence of Soraya Daria, the woman behind Kira's descent into madness. A woman who wasn't a woman at all. The Star Mother, an ancient cosmic entity feeding off the darkest desires of humanity. What you thought was the end of Kira's tale. It was only the beginning. Sound effect, a soft rustle, the sound of bone cracking subtly in the background. Host, coldly. After the brutal murder of her boyfriend, his father, and his sister, Kira didn't stop. How could she? The hunger that Soraya had awakened within her was insatiable. The taste of blood on her tongue, the warmth of flesh between her teeth, it ignited something in her, something monstrous. And Soraya? She watched with satisfaction, a silent architect of Kira's transformation. But here's where the story turns darker. You see, Kira didn't just murder. She didn't just eat. She savored it. With every bite, every tear of muscle and bone, she felt closer to Soraya, closer to the power she had been promised. It was no longer about pleasing her lover. It was about becoming something more than human. Kira didn't just want to obey Soraya. She wanted to be Soraya. After that night of bloodshed, the authorities thought they'd seen the worst. They believed they had stumbled upon the grotesque end of a tragic killing spree. But they had no idea what horrors were yet to come. Kira hadn't been caught. No, she had disappeared, her bloody trail leading nowhere. She was on the run, but not from the law. Number. She was running towards something, towards Soraya. The deeper Kira sank into Soraya's influence, the more detached from reality she became. Visions plagued her, visions of a great black void, stars burning out one by one, until only darkness remained. Soraya whispered to her in dreams, telling her that she was meant for something greater. She was to become Soraya's vessel, her connection to the mortal world. And to do that, Kira needed to purge what was left of her humanity. The next killing was more brutal than the first. An unsuspecting family in Laguna Beach, father, mother, and their 2 children. Kira broke into their home in the dead of night, dragging her fingers across the walls, smearing blood like an artist creating their masterpiece. She didn't just kill them, she devoured them. But this time the killing wasn't enough. Kira needed to send a message to the world, a message that echoed Soraya's intent. So she left behind something special. The father's severed head, nailed to the living room wall, eyes gouged out, tongue missing. The mother's torso, flayed open and drained, her heart sitting like an offering at the foot of the family portrait. The children? Well, the children were never found, but pieces of them remained. But Soraya knew. The ritual was almost complete, but to finish it, Kira needed one final sacrifice, one final act of violence to seal her fate. She had to return to where it all began. Kira went back to her boyfriend's old home, the scene of her first slaughter. The air was thick with the stench of decay. The memory of what she had done still fresh in her mind. And there, waiting for her in the shadows, was Soraya. She smiled that knowing smile, her eyes gleaming like black stars in the void. Soraya was no longer hiding her true form. The Star Mother had revealed herself. In that moment, Kira realized that she wasn't Soraya's equal. She never would be. She was nothing more than a tool, a vessel meant to serve, to destroy, and to die. And yet, she couldn't resist. The pull was too strong.